So what's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for coming onto this channel. So as always, starting off with the match stats. So for this one, it was quite a funny game because we actually conceded literally within the first minute of the game. But we did win, we did come back, and it was a 4-1 win overall. And again, from our side, we had a 56% possession. We had 6 shots in total compared to 9 from the opposition. I had a rating of 7.5 match rating. I had 8 possessions won, 0 possessions lost. I made 3 tackles at 67% accuracy. So again, a very strong defensive performance on our side. And generally within our team, we had a full 11, but we had a lot of trialists as well. So, the team that we had Adam in goal. We had Adnan as right back, we had myself as centre back, same with Sergio Ramos as centre back. Sergio Ramos is actually ranked 5th as a centre back on proclubs on PC, which is great to have as a partner. And then as left back you got Raul as well. And then we had a CDM as Hanch, we had Graham and Thiago as centre mid, we also had X as the cam, and then Imigor and John as a striker. So again, we were playing with a very different team. Again, the positions that we had as well for the teams were quite brand new as well. So again, it was just for us to test and trial, especially with the new trialists. And again, we're coming to the latter end now to the FIFA period, and especially crossplay is going to be enabled soon. So the vast amount of new players and scouts that we're going to be looking at poaching in terms of the players is going to be fantastic. So again, just watch this space, but do enjoy the game. Overall, yes, we did concede the first goal within the first minute. I think this is something that or the opposition team have been trialing out for a while, especially how they launched the ball from like kickoff all the way to the right side. The left back from our side of things should have been a bit more, let's say, deep, but again, we didn't expect them to launch the ball like that and then for them to cut in. But again, we learned from that side of things, the mistake, and we did win 4-1. We did have a good performance overall from the team in a lot of cases. Again, it is a very brand new team. Let's see how it goes with the team in general. Maybe there may be different positions being trialled out again, but I'm glad that we do have a full 11, especially with Thiago now back from holiday, and he's the main king or the main manager, let's say, within the team that, he pulls in all of these players, which is fantastic. So again, good to see that we have got a fantastic 11 team. But again, we've got so many players at the moment that we were literally yesterday looking at splitting the teams in 2 and having like an internal game of like 7 versus 7 with the teams that we had. So it's good to see that we've got the vast amount of players for different positions. But again, we need to look at fixating players to different positions and just focusing on those. So do sit back and enjoy the game. And what we're going to be talking about today, guys, is really about the transfer market and the general gist of how things have been going. I know I haven't really discussed much about the transfers. I have been off sick, let's say, for a week and then on holiday as well, so I haven't had much chance. But the team that I really want to discuss is around Barcelona, and they've been rumoured and they've acquired, let's say, a number of players to really bolster up Xavi's chance of re-getting them back into the La Liga side of things, winning the the trophy for that, as well as doing really well for the Champions League. They're now let's say Barcelona is a team that is now moving away from the Messi era. And you got the likes of Gavi, you've got Pedri, you've got Fati, fantastic youth players for Barca, but of course they do need the experience as well. And the acquisitions that they've made have been so far fantastic, but I honestly don't know where they're getting the money from. They're such a broke club. I honestly don't know where they're getting the money from. And it was so funny because Nagelsmann, I think is the Bayern Munich manager, he said it truly, and he said it so correctly as well. Like, literally, how the hell are these guys buying players, especially on how broke they are? They've just recently bought Lewandowski. They've got Rafinha from like the Leeds side of things, which is around 58 mil, so that's still a hefty amount. They bought Christensen for free. They've also got Kessie from AC Milan, a CDM, a box-to-box, fantastic player, again purchased on a free. And honestly, they're looking at purchasing majority of the Chelsea defence. They're looking at Azpilicueta from the right back side of things, and then even Marcus Alonso on the left back for Chelsea. So I really don't understand the financials and how they're doing with these wage salaries for all of these players, especially as they've kept on Dembele. De Jong is going to be staying on as well. I don't see him going over to Manchester United. But the team that Barcelona currently have, again, they can make some improvements, let's say, in the defensive side of things. You know, centre back, they can look at, let's say, Kunde, who they have been rumoured for. You know, Sevilla, same with Chelsea, who's been rumoured for this individual player. That might be a good, let's say, purchase for them. But again, I just don't understand the likes of them and Real Madrid, how they're so broke, yet they still acquire these big names. And I think it's all around, like, let's say, the wage cap. And Liverpool's done a fantastic job in, like, you know, unfortunately, you know, we have seen Mane leave and he's gone to Bayern Munich for a higher wage salary. And this is the first player that we've literally gone obscene amount in terms of the wage cap, and that's with Salah. But again, we don't do that for a consistent amount of players, and that's something that hasn't worked out for Barca. You know, and you also got Manchester United that's doing in the same side of things. Same with, like, Arsenal. They had such a high wage cap that, you know, you've got the likes of Ozil that was on the bench for a while. You've got Pogba for United that was on the bench for a while. And they're getting paid some ridiculous amounts. So, of course, the financial, you know, the profit and loss side of things for the the football clubs aren't going to be great. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with, like, Barca's season. But the acquisitions that they've made and the players that they have been rumoured with have been fantastic. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how they mould as a team. You know, Xavi done a fantastic job. You know, being as a player, then moving over to the Arab side of things for the managerial side of things. And now he's coming back over to Barca where, you know, he's been in that, let's say, mentality as such with the tiki-taka football, you know, the quick, easy, possession-based, you know, football side of things. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Barca progress. And again, Real Madrid done a fantastic job last season. And again, they do have an aged side as well. But they have been making some really interesting acquisitions in that central midfield or the central defensive midfield side of things for Madrid. They bought that French youth guy. They've got Kavinga as well, who's always been like a wonder kid over these past, like, FIFAs and the pro clubs as well. So, you know, Barca, yes, they are rejuvenating and recuperating as a team. But again, their finances don't help them at all. And it's only going to be a matter of time where, you know, financial fair play or whatever the case is about their, you know, their wage salaries will be in question. But again, nothing's going to be done because FIFA loves these Spanish clubs. So no, I think with Barca, it's going to be a very interesting season for them. And especially, I think Rafinha has made a clever decision, to be truthfully honest with you, moving away from, like, let's say, the Premier League and moving over to, let's say, the Spanish League. Barca have got a fantastic team now, you know, with Lewandowski up front. Yes, he's around 33, 34 years old, but man is still a GOAT, man. He's still a fantastic goal scorer. So, no, I think it's going to be a very interesting opportunity to see how they progress. And, you know, talking about other teams that I do see doing very well and, you know, talking about the Premier League side of things, you've got Arsenal as well as Tottenham that I do feel will be third or fourth. I do see Tottenham getting fourth and Arsenal getting third. And, of course, Liverpool and Man City fighting for first and second. You know, Chelsea, in my opinion, are going to get fifth. Manchester United, talking about these guys, you know, they've done an okay job, let's say, in the friendlies that they've been playing. You know, against Liverpool, they had their full 11. And the thing is, of course, there's going to be different teams having a different game plan in these friendlies. You've got a new boss within Manchester United who's come from, like, a fantastic philosophy that he's brought in with Ajax, you know, with the youth that he's brought up from the academy across over to, like, the first team for Ajax. And now he's got the likes of Van der Beek that, you know, who was one of his key players at the time for Ajax, who's now been playing quite a lot of games, let's say, I assume he will be playing a lot of games for them, for United. And again, he did give that assist for the recent game against Crystal Palace. I just saw some highlights. But again, with the way that Manchester United have been coming for these friendlies have been for the chance for the manager to see which top 11 that he'll be given a go for these games. And of course, like Liverpool, you got Crystal Palace playing their second field team for the fitness side of things. Of course, the acquisitions that Liverpool have made, they want to give, you know, a go to like Carvalho, for example, and these other individual players. But, you know, United are overhyping themselves. I completely believe they are overhyping themselves during these friendlies. And then they got Brighton as their first game of the season. I think they're just going to get dealt with. But no, I think it's going to be interesting, especially the style that he's trying to embed in the United type of philosophy. You know, he's looking at the Gegenpress, let's say, or the high pressing type of football. But again, you need those unique type of players that are adapted or can adapt to this type of play. You know, you've got the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City that have been going through this pressing style for many years now, many years, and even Jurgen Klopp has adapted his Gurgen press, or whatever it's called, to different styles. You know, last season we saw Liverpool playing with a very, very high line, with a high pressing type of football. And now you've got, let's say, Manchester United that are trying to embed the same type of philosophy, but you don't have, let's say, the work rate or the individual players to be able to sustain that for a very long season. And we saw that with Jurgen. You know, the high pressing football had a massive toll for his team. They were scoring many goals, but they were conceding loads as well. You know, unfortunately, we didn't have Alisson in those days, but we had Mignolet as well as like Karius as well. But again, his philosophy has been, you know, embedded throughout the years, and look what it's done for them. You know, Liverpool's been fantastic and one of the top teams in the world for club football. Same with Man City. So I think, you know, what we're going to see with Manchester United, again, it's just my honest opinion. And again, do let me know your thoughts on what you feel and where you feel United will be placed within the Premier League. But I do honestly see them being around, like, I don't know, 6th, 7th. I don't see them going for Champions League this year. They may think that they're going to be Champions League, let's say, opportunists, or even like the Premier League winners this year, especially as, you know, they beat the likes of Liverpool. You've got Melbourne as well as Crystal Palace reserves, you know, within these friendly matches. And again, Maguire hasn't been playing well, you know, during these friendlies as well. And I don't understand why this man is still captain for the club. You know, he needs to go. He's literally a bad omen for them, which is banter to see, especially as a Liverpool fan. But again, United will take a couple of years to really be the team that they want to be. You know, you've got Ronaldo, who, I don't know why they're still focused on Ronaldo, for example. You know, he's too old now. Don't get me wrong, he's still a fantastic player. Top scorer for United last season, especially at the age of 36, 37. Now they bought this little hobbit called Martinez from Ajax. Let's see how he does against these big boy players on these corners. But again, he's a good player, Martinez, especially for like the Dutch league. But the Premier League is a different equation, man. But the left back that they bought, you know, he's done well for them, you know, for the past couple of games. But again, it's going to take a while for him to get used to his partnerships with Maguire. Most probably going to be his left-sided partner in that United defence. But I don't know, let's see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with United. But, you know, I really want to talk about like Arsenal and Tottenham tomorrow's in tomorrow's video, and just really go into depth like the signings that they've made. And as we know, you know, Arsenal have purchased some really interesting players, and majority of them coming from Man City. Of course, Arteta was a coach there, and a lot of his philosophy and the training style was coming through Arteta directly, as well as Pep, as we know. But, you know, Arteta did a fantastic job with Arsenal last year. You know, he brought them from like the mists of the relegation battle to close to 4th, and then they done a Spursies, and yeah, they didn't get the Champions League side of things. But I don't know, I think Arsenal are going to be a different level this season. I think Tottenham will get 4th. I don't see Chelsea doing well this season. Of course, they've always been fantastic as a defensive club, but attacking wise, they've never been great. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, you know, their number 9s have been awful. Bloody, I'm burping, I'm coughing. Sorry, boys and girls. But yeah, no, I think with Chelsea, the number 9s have been awful, and they haven't really purchased the number 9. They've still got the likes of Werner. They've got like Sterling now as well. They haven't made any defensive signings apart from Koulibaly, who's now off. In my opinion, he's not in his prime form, especially as Salah has put him on his arse a couple of times, especially when he was playing at Napoli in the Champions League. And again, I think it's too late to purchase Koulibaly, especially for the figure that they bought him for. I think if it was like the likes of Liverpool, and I did hope that Koulibaly was to come to Liverpool as well a couple of seasons ago. That was when he was at his prime, but, you know, he's not in his prime at the moment. But Chelsea, you know, in general have always been fantastic defensively. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And again, he's had that partnership with Mendy in the international scene, as well as Jorginho in the Napoli scene as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Chelsea mould through. But again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about Arsenal, Tottenham, maybe Chelsea. Let's see how it goes, but those two clubs for sure. But yeah, guys, we are coming to the end of the video. I do appreciate you guys listening to this blabber as always. You know, please feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video, and take care. Bye-bye.